Denise Roche.
E te manga te whare, tēnā koe, tēnā koutou e te whare, e huri aku whakaaro ki te hunga mate, rātou ngā tupuna o Ngāi te Rangi me ngā Pōtiki kua wehe atu ki te pō, I ronga I te araroa o te kere me nei, haere, haere, haere o te atu rā. Apiri hono, tātai hono, te hunga mate ki te hunga mate. Apiri hono, tātai hono, te hunga ora ki te hunga ora. Tēnā koutou katoa nā uri kua tai mai nei. Mr. Speaker, I've wanted to start firstly by acknowledging the people of Ngāi Te Rangi and Ngā Pōtiki who have passed on. I particularly want to acknowledge those who spent their lives over many generations, those who spent their lives fighting for justice for their people. Sir, this bill signals the last of a series of settlements relating to the iwi of Tauranga Moana. The larger iwi, Ngāi Te Rangi, negotiated to work collectively with Ngā Pōtiki to achieve this joint settlement, and that's what we're celebrating today. But the history behind this bill is a history of betrayal by the Crown. It's a history of raupatu in both the 19th and the 20th centuries. The Crown brought war to Tauranga Moana in order to justify confiscation and to gain access to the fertile lands there, and in a bid to limit Ngāi Te Rangi support for the kingitanga. In particular, General Cameron brought a reign of terror onto the Waikato, which was also because the Crown wanted that land. The consequences of the battles in Tauranga were a massive confiscation of the land of these two iwi and a betrayal of the promise that only some lands of those involved in the fighting would be confiscated. A large area was taken, as we've heard from our previous speaker. And when some of it was returned to individuals, not to hapu, which when you analyse that is how you alienate the collective hapu from their land. And it undermines the hapu rangatiratanga. So given the importance of this history and the Land War Act impacts on these iwi and many others, you would think that the Crown in 2016 would be ensuring that this history would be taught in our schools. How many people, for example, would know that the Te Papa Peninsula, which is today where the Tauranga Central Business District was included in the confiscations, and that's acknowledged, sir, in the deed of settlement and in the acknowledged history. Sir, in addition to the large land loss and destruction of social and economic structures, the 20th century saw a continuation of the attack on the people of Ngāi Te Rangi and Ngā Pōtiki via the use of the Public Works Act. The sacred burial site of Ngā Pōtiki tupuna Tamapahore at Mangatawa was destroyed firstly by a quarry and subsequently by a reservoir. The Public Works Act was used to build sewerage works that would pollute their food basket and undermine their kaitiakitanga. And this is acknowledged in the deed of settlement, and I just want to quote from it. It says that the development of the Port of Tauranga, the disposing of sewage and wastewater into the harbours and waterways of Tauranga Moana, the construction of effluent treatment ponds onto Tahuna o Rangataua have resulted in the environmental degradation of Tauranga Moana and a reduction of biodiversity and food resources, which remain a great source of distress to Ngāi Te Rangi and Ngā Pōtiki. It also says in the deed of settlement, sir, that since 1886, on top of the thousands and thousands of acres of land that was confiscated or swindled from the iwi, that 421 acres of Ngā Pōtiki lands have been acquired for public works purposes. And to this day, the Public Works Act is correctly considered to be an instrument of oppression against tangata whenua lands. And this is why my colleague, Green MP Catherine Delahunty, has a bill that's been selected from the ballot to prevent any more collectively owned Māori land being taken under the Public under the Public Works Act. It's being hugely supported by iwi across the country. And it may not stop at all, but it's a start. And many tangata whenua are supporting it because the Public Works Act has done enough damage. So while we acknowledge the journey that it has taken to get this bill to the House, the Greens also maintain that this bill does not represent a full and final settlement. It's not final because at this stage we don't know how the past actions of the Crown will impact on the generations yet to come. And it's certainly not full when we compare the redress package with the huge losses suffered, and the previous speaker spoke about that. We also, sir, have strong reservations about the process, which is that the Crown determines who it will and won't negotiate with. And we worry that this will cause more breaches of the Treaty of Waitangi because it can pit iwi against iwi and hapu against hapu. Make no mistake, sir, the settlement, while it is to be acknowledged and celebrated, it is a deal. It's the best offer iwi could negotiate at the time, but we still need to recognise it's a deal. The financial redress package for Ngāi is $25 million and Ngā Pōtiki $3 million. And they'll receive interest, and there's some commercial properties as well. But as it says in the deed of settlement, this is for setting up an economic base. And it says the financial and commercial redress is aimed at providing Ngāi and Ngā Pōtiki with resources to assist them to develop their economic and social well-being, which was basically stripped from them with their land. The iwi will also have the opportunity to buy back some properties, about 37 of them for Ngāi and 32 for Ngā Pōtiki. But I think, sir, we have to acknowledge the generosity of Ngāi and Ngā Pōtiki for agreeing to the settlement. The compensation is a drop in the bucket. Tomorrow is budget day. That's when the government will decide how many millions it will allocate for their various projects. With a total of nearly 30 million for this settlement, it doesn't come anywhere near the 1.7 billion that this government allocated to bail out Southern Finance about 4 or 5 years ago. And those investors didn't even lose their land. So the relationship redress sets out how the government agencies will interact and consult with Ngāi and Ngā Pōtiki, and it includes provisions for the Minister of Treaty of Waitangi Negotiations and the Office of the Treaty Settlements to write letters introducing members of Ngāi and Ngā Pōtiki to governance entities like government agencies, local authorities, education providers and state-owned enterprises. There's also some reserves that will be vested in Ngāi as cultural redress, and that will give the opportunity for the iwi to work with the Crown to protect and enhance the conservation values. Sir, the legislation, it's not last but not least, the legislation contains the apology from the Crown to iwi, and that apology is to be valued. It can never be underestimated. But again, we acknowledge the generosity of Ngāi and Ngā Pōtiki. We hope that this settlement will help with setting up an economic base for their people, and that the apology will go some way towards healing the hurts from the past. But sir, we have a long way to go before they are fully restored to their place in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Having said that, sir, we will be supporting this bill.
Peter